Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 246. Let's see who shows up. Okay, all right. I'm gonna take the deluxe. I can't remember if the trials are kind of blending for the ones I've done recently for funsies, and then the ones for the ones for realsies and recordingsies. But I was thinking I wanted to just try out the Lux, but no, there's a Troop of Elnuks here with this Anivia. I know it's been ages since we've drafted an Anivia, but this is like the only way I ever recommend drafting her or pursuing Elnix. And so we're going to do it. We're going to go for it. Let's get out the dice and clackety clack because we're going to do it. So let's take a moment. We'll get this pulled up on the site. If you're not familiar with the site, it's ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition related content. In this section here, we're just going to be over on the expedition helper or the main page, however you prefer to get to it. But you can just go down to the little drop down, scroll to the first choice on the list. We got to do one of these. And that is Cloning Program Anivia. And then this is all the cards that live in this card pool. And so, kind of in general, the idea behind this cloning program pool is it's paired up with, I think, Vi now, but it's using things like counterfeit copies, which is the worst card in the game, and the other make copies of cards, things to shuffle stuff back into your deck. So the idea is that you can play an Avarosian Trapper, draw the 5/5 for 1 mana Yeti. That's a pretty good deal. You might want some more of those, so you shuffle a bunch of them back into your deck. Or you can have an Elnik in your hand, shuffle a bunch of Elniks into your deck, and then play a troop and be more likely to hit more of these. And so in general, that theme is just hot garbage. It's just the work that you put into the payoff just does not align very well. And so I fully recommend never actually trying that kind of theme. The thing that we're going to actually be trying to pull off here is one of the very few times I recommend actually taking an Anivia is when you start with Troop of Elnuks. And so basically what's going to happen with this draft is we're just going to take every single Troop of Elnuks we see, we're going to take every single Bull Elnik that we see, and then just kind of hope for the best on turn 5. This, if you're not familiar with the Troop of Elnuks, if you're one of the newer folks here to Runeterra, this used to look at the top 10 cards of your deck, which it was super easy to just hit like 30 stats of unit on the 5th turn. Really hated it. If you wanted to see a free-to-play bus Saltfest, you just have to see me play against the Elnix deck. Because this little mini game's not fun for anybody, right? I really wish they'd just take this out of the game. But my problem with the troops is, there's two situations, right? We play it, we completely miss. That sucks for us, right? That does not feel good. We spent all this time building this Troop of Elnix deck. We want to hit some cards and get this going. We just whiff, and that's a real feels bad for us. Or on the opposite side of the coin, we play Troop of Elnix, we hit like 4. We just have, infinite stats on the board, and our opponent loses the game. That was not fun for our opponent. And so there's no real very frequent middle ground where it's like we play a Troop of Elnix and just hit like 1. And it's just the feel goods are fairly non-existent with that. But nonetheless, that's what we'll be pursuing in this trial. This pool also has the Yetis thing going with it, where you have the Avarosian Trapper and the Yeti Yearling, to a lesser degree, Ancient Yeti. These are fine to pursue, just don't be chasing after Tall Tales. Tall Tales is pretty bad. But, overall, not a terrible card pool. It's got as much interaction as you can hope for out of Freylord between Brittle Steel and Harsh Winds for combat. It's got Caught in the Cold as the Freylord's only way to interact with your opponent's units. It's got the good utility in the Rime Tusk Shaman. It's got great epics in Avarosian Hearthguard, Howling Abyss, and the Tusk Raider. And so, all in all, it's a pretty good set of cards. It's just, you typically have to make your choices early as to whether or not you're going to pursue the troops. This card is completely horrible if you just have like, 1 troop and 2 bulls. Then it falls pretty flat and feels pretty bad. But otherwise, any of these decks where we're looking at like an Ash deck or an Oxcry Arena deck or a Reckoning based 5 attack matters deck, a lot of these themes are pretty happy to be paired up with Anivia here. So that's who we're going to be pursuing. Let's see if we get someone neat in the in the second pack. I typically hope for another Freylord choice, which we did not get here. And so how do we want to pursue this? The Scrap Heap Jinx does not pair up well with Anivia. It's just these themes don't just don't mesh. I was really hoping for another, Freylord or another Noxus champion. I think I'm gonna take the Garen. Not really excited about Garen, but he comes with the removal spell. Freylord doesn't have any of these real hard removal spells, and I think that will be okay. You can argue for trying to take karmas so that you can do things like play shadows and dust, whatever the thing is that makes 2 copies of a unit, so that you can make copies of your Anivia. Again, something I'm not willing to just roll a dice after. You would have needed to have found like a shadows and dust Zed. So I mean, I'm not excited about this, but it's a it's a removal spell. I think that's all we can really hope for. We can take a moment to talk about Garen as well, but this is one of the most straightforward card pools in the game. Where are you at, bud? Garen, Demacian Steel. And so, yeah, it's just elites. The way I tend to recommend drafting elites is it's actually a Vanguard Bannerman deck. I don't recommend drafting Garens. You really just want to be drafting Vanguard Bannerman. And then to a lesser degree, you're looking for Battlesmith. These are rare. Battlesmith and reinforcements. And so, we're kind of like halfway between both decks here. And we're just going to have to make a choice real quick, real early. With Garen, we have reinforcements. And so, we're on track to be playing elites. Over here, we have the Troop of Elnuks. We're on track to be playing troops. There's not going to be a whole lot of goodness overlap between these, but, like this Garen deck is okay to have Anivia in it. Anivia is okay to have a removal spell. We're just going to have to pick real early which of these we're going to pursue. Okay, boom, Troop of Elnuks. Easy game. We're going for it, boys. Got the troop with an early game play. Oh man, I am ready I'm ready to do the cloning. So okay, with these, this is also the problem that we're going to run into with Cloning Program is that Call of the Wild is pretty bad. If you have to hit 2 for this to feel like an okay value. You're never going to hit 3, and then if you hit 0 or 1, then it feels really bad. So hopefully we'll be able to just trade these out, but again, I'm pretty happy to be picking up these trappers. With these other cards, we're just going to be full into Cloning Program. I don't care about anything from Demacia unless it's a removal spell. And so we'll be pretty happy to pick up single combats and dragon single combats. Those all play well with Yetis, right? A Yeti should be bigger than whatever our opponent has. And then we're cool to pick up Detains and double strike, whatever it's called, concerted strike. So not really looking for a lot out of Demacia. And then both of these cards down here are pretty unplayable. We don't have ways to plunder for the Wolf Rider, and hit the stairs is garbage. Okay, alright, the goodness continues. Just the best Freylord spell in the game with another Trapper. Easy stuff, easy stuff. Okay, exactly what we're not looking for here. Both the Tall Tales and the Call of the Wild, those are both X'd off on our review sheet, so there's no desire to take either of these. This is a pretty reasonable set down here. I'm pretty happy with Ancient Yetis. It does have the Yeti keyword to it, which shouldn't be important because we're going to avoid Tall Tales, but I mean, we do have the one Call of the Wild, so it does matter to a degree. And then this is kind of the preferable late game since it can typically come down for 3 or 4 mana. Okay. All right, well, given the exact same packs, I think I'm okay with taking Brittle Steel over Stalking Wolf. It's a little bit of chicken and egg in that the Stalking Wolf really wants us to have Frostbites, and then the Frostbites aren't that exciting without the challengers, but I think I'm okay with this here. Just, we should have a pretty reasonable curve between like Yeti Yearlings, and maybe we'll pick up some Avrosian Sentries and such to just have something to put down on the early turns. Just like this, Ancient Yeti number 3 with a Sentry. That's going to have to work. We don't want the ramp cards, and don't want Demacia cards that aren't removal spells. Okay, the hits continue. I'm not opposed to taking cards like Shared Spoils here. We can sometimes get enough like early game overwhelms to where these can pop off fairly easily. Like if we hit the 3 attack 2-cost guy or Mighty Poro or Wolf Riders, then you tend to be able to hit these, but we're not passing on the Tusk Raider here. Okay, how many Ancient Yetis can we get? No, we're going to pass on that. Oh, here I'm going to take the Ursine Spirit Walker. Kind of, with the sub-theme here of having Avarosian Trappers and Yeti Yearlings making Enraged Yetis, what tends to happen is we'll get 2 or 3 of these down, then our opponent can just chump block them over and over again. And so we either want an Ursine Spirit Walker or 2, or we want Pack Mentality to give all of our units Overwhelm. So pretty happy to go ahead and pick up one of these. Okay, hell yeah, Vanguard Bannerman. No, I won't take the Call of the Wild. Entreat's pretty bad, but you know, at least it gives us an interactive unit here in the Stalking Wolf. Okay, okay. And see, this is what I'm talking about with the real problem with the Troop of Elnuks. I thought about mentioning it in the previous pack, it just didn't come up. But, you know, pack 1, we had a troop. Pack 2, we had a troop. Pack 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 0 troops, 0 bulls. And so, you know, as it stands, this card, it's not dead, but it's, you know, 2 mana overcosted. And so we're hopefully going to see some more troops as the trade picks come up, but that is my major problem with drafting the Elnuks deck. And then here, like Fleet Feather Tracker is the best choice, but I'm just going to take the Archer Tall Tales. Not real excited about Tall Tales, but picking up the Iceveil Archer is a nice little early game play. Then here, I'm happy to pick up Omen Hawk Pack Mentality. Just Omen Hawk's one of the premier 1-drops in the game, and we do want this way to help close out the games. We did manage to get an Ursine Spirit Walker, but this isn't really guaranteed Overwhelm, whereas the Pack Mentality is. So happy enough to pick it up. And it also, you know, we have like things like Reinforcements. If we play a Reinforcements, we have 2 4/4s. Pack Mentality works with that. The Spirit Walker doesn't. So just some little combos we can hopefully pull off. And last but not least, very easy pack, Brutal Steel and Sentry. Well, the Relentless Pursuit. Hang on now. Let me slow down and maybe consider taking some Demacia, because I think we can do a whole lot with these Relentless Pursuits. On guard, okay with the Yetis, but the more I stop and think about this, the more I like these. I think I'm actually going to take the Demacia cards. This doesn't really like fill a void in our deck that we don't already have. We have 2 Brittle Steels, 1 Sentry. We would like a little bit more early game, but I don't think these are going to be too likely to show up in the future. Okay, game, can you get me to trade out the troops? No, we're sticking to it. And so let's take the Sentry over the Stalking Wolf. And I think the card advantage is a little bit more important than the Challenger bits. And then move it on. And okay, we do have to go make a premium as well. If you didn't catch the previous run, I forgot to do it. I reminded myself like 3 or 4 times and forgot till we got all the way to the end. And so I just felt compelled to make Diana premium, you know, because we forgot so long. And so now I won't spend all those monies until we're rightfully there. We got to level up our commons first. And so I might be out of common units here. I know Omen Hawk and Yeti Yearling are both premiumed. Avarosian Sentry probably is not. I know the Trapper is. Iceveil Archer, maybe not. Is that it? Are troops common? This is who we're going to do. Okay. We do need some serious help for our Troop of Elnuks. And so maybe if we make our troop premium, more of them will show up throughout the trial. Because as you know, the game's not pay to win. It's very free to play friendly, but spending money on your cards makes them feel more special, makes them perform better. Life is all about performance, right? you can't hate on the Troop of Elnuks performance. And so maybe if they're shiny, it'll attract some of his friends, and we'll have some more of these throughout the trial. You heard it here first. That's the way digital card game logic works. Okay, and see, boom, there he is. Not going to keep him, but he's here and ready to party. Okay. Never happy to start out with 8 drops, but the rest of this is reasonable at best. Oh, love starting with Ancient Yetis, though. Okay. Nothing we can do about that, taking that point of damage here. Oh, the Sentry was premium. I don't even remember doing that. Okay, and then given this spot, this is kind of one of these awkward things that you'll run into an expedition. We're going to want to pop off this entreat soon. We're not like super likely to draw our Articuno. You know, I guess we're at like a 4% chance, but I'd prefer to just not naturally draw it so we don't have a completely dead card in our hand. And the mana will play nicely this turn for that to be a reality.
Nothing escapes my watch.
Strike now.
Might have to Brittle Steel this for health at some point. It's not something I ever really want to do, but if he attacked with both things, I would be kind of inclined to just trade with his Ballistic Bot and save up our Brittle Steels for these Nyandroids. I don't know. Maybe this is like as someone that's come from a Magic background, you would rarely think about that kind of play at this stage of the game, but it's just like the damage is so bursty in this game that it feels like it could be reasonable. Here we're pretty safe with Garen. Brittle Steel will smash any of his plays. So, I think does all of our mana line up well here? If we don't Brittle Steel, play Articuno next turn, then we want 8 mana on our following turn, so we can both Pack Mentality and Ancient Yeti. So I think we can pull that off.
These jewels are more than mere trinkets. The spirit of winter awakens.
I guess at this stage, now, well, Enraged Yeti will cost 1 as well. I was going to say we could play Enraged Yeti, but the mana's not as important. 6, 10, 13, so we're going to have to Brittle Steel in this combat.
I disapprove.
Fall to 3. I think we're gonna... Oh, we may not be able to be short on damage. Be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 19. And then you could put forth 2, 6, 8. So we're going to be a damage short, but we could at least get all of his elusives off the board. Oh no, but we'd also deal point of damage with Anivia. So this should be lethal if he doesn't have a removal spell. Or a burn spell. If he has a Mystic Shot, we die. Right, 19 plus 1 is 20. Right, because the Articuno is going to chunk 1 health off of all these cards. Yeah, I'll start shaping. Okay. But this will also flip our Garen. So if he's going to get cute, then he might be able to do something. Damn, really needed that 1 mana. So we can draw Harsh Winds. We still have our out. Nope. Okay. Damn. 1 mana short. So let's see. I still have this idea that we can pull off these troops. I'm going to be ultra stubborn here and not trade these away. But let's pick up the Yeti Yearling. The reinforcements just doesn't have any combos in our deck. Still want to hang on to that reinforcements. This is fine. Ugh. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Can't do a little better here. I mean, it felt fine. It was just couldn't interact with what he was doing. Trying to remember if we took any damage at some point in there. And alright, are we just going to go all Yetis all the time on this guy? I think this is fine. We don't really have any plays that we want to swap out for trappers. And we get the start with the Ancient Yeti? Okay. All the Ancient Yetis. Can they interact? They can interact with this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and play Trapper. It's horrible for us if we play Tall Tales and then he just has a removal spell for our Yeti Yearling. Okay, real intent on making a 4/5. We're about to start slamming 5/5s at you, bro. Okay, it's safe now. He can't 3 damage this for 2 mana.
I will play my part.
Yep. How the mighty have fallen. This used to be so good at 2 attack and is just so bad at 1.
It can't be.
Okay, let's keep deploying these 5/5s. Well, if that's how you're gonna be, just draw our card and move on. It's not enough good attacks into both a 4/5 and a 5/5.
Master Sid will be pleased.
These stories were true.
I'm gonna kill something here so we don't have to override anything. I really want to just open with everything next turn. It'd be cool if you wanted to like hook one of our units. I sound like I'm being real convincing for this guy here. Just come on, just hook something. You gonna do it? Are you gonna hook a 3/3 or are you just coming in for damage? Okay. Maybe we stop there. He only has 1 good block on our 3/3s. Getting rid of the little Yeti's kind of whatever, but
I'm through waiting.
Stand firm.
we're gonna get punished for not brittling this before combat. It always feels so bad to do that.
This one will do.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. We don't have a lot going on here. We can go ahead and entreat. That didn't feel like an attack where we need to either play Garen or play Articuno. And then we're free to just play this next turn. I have to assume this game is pretty done. Alright, here's to some more Elnuks. Maybe there'll be one in the Articuno pack. What you got for us here? Nope. Just nope. So I'm never taking this Garen. We're getting a Tall Tales either way. So I think I'm just gonna take this Trendemir. Just plays more to the themes of what we're trying to do. Omen Hawks are a pretty good early game play. This is the big thing with Anivia, is she flips into Harsh Winds though. It's like we don't have a whole lot of combos with her. But also, I mean, I think if we want to take the Elnuks, then maybe Maybe taking the cloning program pack will help them show up. It's tough. Okay. Incoming Elnuks. I can feel it. Man. Surprised we didn't hit like 7 of them, right? I'm pretty good at high rolling. I don't know. I'm better at rolling dice than other people. Let's see. Let's hang on to Ancient Yeti. Call the Wild can go. And this is a fine start. All the Ancient Yetis. This would be pretty good around turn 5. Riven. Brutal Steels are so good against the augments. Got him. First blood.
What you looking for?
I have to block. I don't want him drawing spells at this point. Need a little action here, a little something, something. That's not it. That's not the little something, something we were hoping to find. But I mean, if we're losing some manas here, whatever. But if he doesn't open on his next turn, then
You name
can
it,
drop a
I'll
Yeti. I guess he's definitely going to open on his next turn.
What do we have here?
So he'll get a spell. Ugh. Okay. Not ideal, but he made a pretty big investment in that, so that's good for us at least.
We fight for those who cannot. Nothing can stop me.
Alright, have to assume this is pretty safe. Into his combat trick last turn. I mean, he's a good chance he can just kill Garen, but he's going to have to block direct damage it or something. Or it's much more common for him to have like mystic shots or weapon hilts or something like that if he's going to try to take Garen down. Which he just may not have whatsoever if he's playing in combat like this. We're just going to have so much stats for our next attack.
A chill in the air.
We're going to take a 5 hit off this Trifarian. This should shut down his pickpockets, and then we're just going to have so much stats next turn. We can on guard should we feel the need.
If it's a fight they want.
Let's get in there. It's not going to kill our Garen. Oh, man. Oh, man. What? We could even, like, on his turn, get it like an open. Well, we can't open, but if like, we get the attack token and then on guard come in. Aftershock, yeah. That's not cool. I had so many big plays that we were about to make there. Can we do it? If we troop, we can't on guard. I guess we can. We could just play one Yeti though. Oh, we missed. Oh man, I am surprised. I am surprised deeply. We have an Elnuk in here. I don't know how these mathematics out when it's in the top 6 cards, but lucky. This the luckiest guy ever. I'm pissed now. Alright, so he's got random expensive spell. None of those interact too favorably with what we're doing, if he wants one of them to be a removal spell. Alright, if he's going to make like a 7 mana play here to kill 1 unit, that's fine. Yeah, essentially the same deal. We're never attacking with these Omen Hawks. These can jump in front of the Trifarians. I'd assume this will come down here and prevent the 4. Okay. Oh man, well, I guess that was silly. He could have. I didn't stop to consider that he couldn't just value block these. That's silly. We wouldn't. I mean, he could have moved his block in front of the troop so he wouldn't have lethaled. But that was. I had it in my head that I didn't want him getting a value block on the Omen Hawk so that we could still block his Trifarians. But that was a horrible line of thinking. That was not what we were ever trying to do.
The spirit of winter awakens.
Think I'm still like a yodel in uniform?
Charge!
It should be safe enough. Got 2 cards in hand. He shouldn't be able to burn us out for 7 damage.
I bring the storm.
I don't see a need to on guard. We could have technically like unguarded his chump wumps and forced them to block our overwhelms, but I don't feel like it's ever going to matter. I was considering making them block our lowest health units, so if he was trying to get around, like the way he would win that combat is by burning out our lower health units, and so I figured if I could make his units block our lower health units, then the higher health units would get the win. Why even bother? Just go for it, right? Okay, it's an interesting little set. I don't think we really want 2 Tusk Raiders. And if we had a Sejuani, I guess we could potentially pick up a Sejuani, which would make this more appealing. Not trading out our troops. We're still going to pick up more of these, right? I know for a fact, like the deck thing thinks that we're not in the Elnuks deck for whatever reason, so it keeps trying to give us a chance to get rid of these. But I think I'm okay with just getting rid of Call of the Wild. I don't really want to make pack mentalities, but I definitely want 0 Call of the Wilds, and so I'm going to go ahead and make that swap. So at least for that previous game, we did play a Troop of Elnuks, so I could officially call this an Elnuks deck. That's what will be in the title on YouTube. I guess if you're already here, you've already seen it, but that's the reasoning and the logic behind the title of this video. Is we did play an Elnuk, so it's legal. And if you disagree, then that's your problem, you know. Can't please everybody all the time. Let's see, here he is. Elnuks deck. I know what's up. What's going on here? Victor and Callista. Some Targon. Victor Callista with a little taste of Targon. Okay. I'd have to assume he's just not doing much with Callista, but let's take a peek. Let's clear this out, right? Or do we want to brittle steel? Probably have to brittle steel. This is fine. We have to assume that he's just going to play some Mist Wraiths, and our units are going to trade out with his Mist Wraiths at some point, so I'm pretty okay with this outcome.
Flesh is a weakness we must...
It can't be.
Took the bait.
Took the bait.
We
Okay,
fight
I was gonna say, what are the chances that we could play this Troop of Elnuks and just not be upset at the end of the day? But that's not gonna happen. Here, I'm okay with him blocking one of our trappers with Victor. It's not a huge deal. We gotta start chunking this damage in though, since lifesteal. Since we're pretty interested in closing this game out with pack mentality. Ooh. Oh, this is going to be a huge pack mentality. Yep.
Demacia will prevail.
3, 4. Okay.
Genius in action. No materials, no improvements.
So here, I do believe we just throw out all of our units, so we have a full board. We have 5, so we can play Ancient Yeti Trapper, and then next turn we'll just open with a pack mentality.
Always forward.
Okay. Not exactly sure what that attack's supposed to mean, but he clearly has a combat trick or something, right? He wouldn't just be throwing Victor at us. We ever want to replace this Yeti Yearling? We're pretty all in at this point, right? We might as well pick up the additional 4 stats. But it does let him play 2 units, though. Okay, let's just let him play 1 unit. Okay. Then we'll do the little to big attack here.
Yes, of course. Energy core upgraded.
Right, the idea behind the little to big attacks are the units he wants to be blocking are bigger. Well, actually, let's do it like this. Right. So if he I was gonna say, I typically want to make little to big attacks here, because your good unit or your biggest units, you know, well, that's what we're gonna call your good units. But ideally, what your opponent wants to do is be putting their Victor on your best units. Since he's the one that has lifesteal, he's going to be able to prevent the most damage. But if with that spot there, between having 7/7s and 5/5s, Victor being a 5/4, if he wanted to get into where he could prevent the most damage, he was going to have to block the big Yetis, right? Because the way that attack works is, you know, he needs to block to where he won't die, and so that forces his attacks over to the left where you typically have your worst units. So you're trying to force, say, his Victor to block that Yeti 1-drop as opposed to one of our bigger guys. But interesting little thing where that played out. But nonetheless, here, again, you know, we could take Trindamirs, but I think I want to get these harsh winds going. Happy to pick up a second one for realsies. These Ancient Yetis are showing up in full force as well. But we're in a pretty good spot here. Get the Troop of Elnuks. I wanted to play it, I just didn't have the heart. But alright, the game has to be like looking at our deck and being like, alright, he's got 3 Anivias in here. We got to we gotta pull out the Elnuks for the remaining trades. I was looking for some of the cheapers, our Omen Hawks and 1-drops, but this is fine-ish. Okay, the full Noxus deck. I'm sure he's going to be bringing Overwhelms to the party real soon.
It's Draven time. Took the bait. God axes need victims. Over there.
And if we immediately draw our Enraged Yeti, that would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that would be great. Okay, Okay, that was a pretty big investment in this Draven.
Time for the moneymakers.
Did he discard his Reforge? I didn't get a chance to see. Yeah, quick attack fragment. Okay. He's in the top 3. Come on, Enraged. Boo, that was like the worst possible one. Okay. It's a big old chunk of damage, but nothing we can do about it. We should be pretty safe. Once he's getting to his Darius turns, we'll have these harsh winds. Man, we're not going to draw it until next turn. Alright, well we can add a ton of stats next turn.
Now we're cooking.
Okay, take 9. Right, because we'll be able to Enraged Yeti double Tall Tales next turn. We're a little bit short of getting the Relentless Pursuit as well. It's unfortunate. But I think this will be okay.
They send the hand
Yep.
of Noxus? I'll return to them a stump.
I'd like to see you try.
I think the danger level here is pretty low. We can just get all these in. Maybe not. I think maybe our hand is too good to do this. We're coming up on a turn to where we can both pack Mentality and Relentless Pursuit. I think we're pretty good to just get a Harsh Winds play going here. So we're going to put a Yeti down here. We're going to lose this. We want it to go something like this.
Is the first of many foes. Hold fast.
And do we just pop his champions? Because he's certainly got a Spinning Axe down here. This is fine. And my assumption is that he's wanting to like Whirling Death something. Okay, so not super ideal, but more big boys. Dang, son. Probably can't. That seems a little greedy.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Huh.
Something ancient.
I think we have to get her down. He was giving us the option to bring it back, but I think this gives us 2 more opportunities to draw Harsh Winds next turn. That's what I'm mainly interested in here. Okay. Don't think we're dead, but this open attack is... we're probably just dead here. Unless we draw Harsh Winds. I think Brittle Steel does it.
Noxus will rise.
Oh, no, this Brittle Steel here. We're going to take 1. This will drop us to 10, and then we can have a point in front of
Ready the torches.
areas. We still down to like a Whirling Death or something, but this at least keeps us at 1. Alright, that was just too awkward. I mean, the entire thing that game came down to was we had 2 Tall Tales and an Enraged Yeti in our top 3, and it took us 3 turns to draw. I mean, that is what it is. We could have made a few different plays in there, but it didn't feel like we ever had like a good attack. I didn't want the decision to be on his side as far as we're deploying a Whirling Death goes when we have Frostbites. This is fine. Good to pick up our second Elnuk, or our third Elnuk in total. We're almost there. We're right on track to just being full Elnuks. But that was good. We don't want 2-pack mentalities. You can see in that game how awkward it is to draw 2. You either play it and win the game, or it just rots in your hand. And so it's not a card you ever really want 2 of. But, I mean, we could have messed that one up right from the start, though. We did mulligan away one of our trappers, which we perhaps should have not done. Yora and Elise. Okay. 2 champions that do not play well together.
Patience.
Let's try this again.
Sentinels of light.
Okay, I'll get aggressive into her. I was going to say, if he plays Fiora, I'm not going to attack. I just want him to have to be investing a lot more into combats with her, if that's what it's going to come down to. But
Tread carefully.
this one is fine. He clearly doesn't have her.
No, Lucian.
Potentially make a big Tall Tales play. I don't remember how many draws we were from. Well, I guess it's our next one. That's how many draws away we were. We should probably go ahead and put. Should we put the damage on this thing? Maybe not.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
We are getting built up to this again, to where we can pack mentality plus a relentless pursuit in the same combat, or in the same turn. I don't think that's what this is going to come down to, because we're going to have to harsh winds. But let's at least add Big Boy. We'll give him a juicy target here. Do we even have to care? Let's stop and think about this, because if we want to do this next turn, the big important thing. Well, this won't gain health. This will gain. I think we just want to not care. The next turn we'll get our Tall Tales going, or we'll do this pack mentality relentless pursuit next turn.
Light the signal fires.
I think this is okay, right? Yes, a single combat is pretty bad, but otherwise I don't think they can stop this much damage. He's got the single combat, right? He's thinking about deploying it. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. He has 4 Demacia. Whatever. What else are you going to say about it? We're just going to trade out units. These people, man. These people don't like to have fun. It's fucking bullshit. Alright.
Discipline and steel.
Sure.
our metal.
Just get the unit off the board. Probably. I think what we're kind of looking at here is I want to play Omenhawk Anivia. Gonna attack with Anivia. We're gonna get a plunder out of, and then just play the Tusk Raider.
Spirit of winter awakens.
And hopefully we have enough to just grind this game out.
Let's soar!
Do your worst.
Strike them down.
So she'll level up next turn unless he has a single combat or something. Good to double everybody.
Strength in grace, beauty in the blade. Approaching the battlefront.
Probably need to add this. It's not exciting, but if he has a he has a 4 Demacia. If he plays his 4 Demacia, we're going to want the units on the board.
This is our time.
And depending on how clever this guy tries to be, what happens if we Relentless Pursuit now? It's the unfortunate thing is Anivia only does 2 damage. So I don't think she's going to be quite enough to be effective here. So that'll have to be fine.
Such fast.
Add a unit. See what we can't do with Harsh Winds.
Strike quickly, strike deftly. En garde.
Cavalry, to the field.
Drive them back!
Okay. I'm curious what his angle is here with this Anivia. Maybe it was just to keep our stuff from blocking his units. Do we ever need to protect? Maybe we should protect our Anivia, so if he has a single combat,
Brace yourselves.
then we're safe. Like, not real worried about this Fiora leveling up anytime soon. I think this is okay. So now he needs like a whole bunch of cards if he wants to take Anivia down. Okay. This does not seem good for the home team.
For justice, for Demacia.
Should be okay if we just like stall it out to a degree, but
Gotcha.
right, because we just have so much stats in our deck. We do have this Tusk Raider non-bow where when we shuffle cards into our deck, they don't get that double stats, right? It's the ones in your deck when you play it. But all right, let's see what we can do here. Can't attack with Garen because of this Vanguard Cavalry, but
What I do,
Jesus.
I do in Demacia's name.
all right, buddy. What did he took our Tusk Raider?
Hot on the trail.
Okay.
Met with steel.
He's got a trick, or you just never block with this, right? Yeah.
Counter and strike.
Why wouldn't you just block with the Nivea or Fiora if that was going to be the case? Anyways, all right. This has gone downhill pretty quickly. I'm having the counter spell onto our yeah, having the counter spell onto our pack mentality. This is too much. All right. Was that it? I can't remember if that was 2 losses in a row or not. I'm so sad about the state of our Elnuks. Yeah, that was it. So okay, I mean, I felt like this was a pretty good representation of what you run into with Anivia. I think all of the synergies and strategies we definitely hit here. It was a little, this Garen pick wasn't super exciting, but there's not a lot of exciting picks to pair with Anivia. You're really just looking for another Frey Lord or another Noxus champion. But yeah, that was it. That was it. This is like, the only time I really ever recommend taking Troop of Elnuks or pursuing the Troop of Elnuks strategy is when you start with it, right? And this is ultimately, like how much more can we do right as far as trying to put this Troop of Elnuks deck together, and then just have it like 100% fall flat. Like, we start with the Troop of Elnuks. It's in our Anivia pack. Good. We take Garen, whatever. That's a champion. Pack 3, we take the one with Troop of Elnuks. So, like, at this stage, like, I don't know. Like, I get it with us, right? We're pretty, experienced at expeditions. At least I am. I think most of my viewers are. I feel like for the most part, if you're out there, looking to watch people, just talk about expedition all the time, or if you, looked for my content and found that this probably isn't your first expedition trial, right? And so, but like, we're such like a small percentage of the population. Like, what are you supposed to expect when, like, it's like your second or your third expedition trial? You're like, oh, cool, I've got this Anivia with Troop of Elnuks, and it's like, I read Troop of Elnuks and understand what it does. I'll probably want a lot of these things, and then you come down here into pick 3 and you're like, shit, yeah, I got another one of these guys. This is exactly the strategy we're trying to do. This up here says Cloning Program. This says Cloning Program. We got 2 of these troops. We're ready to go. We're going to do this Troop of Elnuks thing. And then we just did not see another Elnuk until, where did we pick up the bull? These packs down here are messed up, but I think it was like down here at pick 20 or pick 18 or something. And so it's like what are you supposed to do? Like, I get that, there's RNG and everything and all that, but that's like my big problem with the troops. From the deck building perspective, like, what did we do wrong to not be in the Troop of Elnuks thing, right? This is exactly what we were supposed to be doing, right? And I don't know the exact contents of these packs down here, but like Trapper Call of the Wild both in the pool, Trapper Harsh Winds both in the pool, Brittle Steels and Yetis, and the whatever this is, Cloning Program pool. It's like, what like, I don't know. I don't know what else you're supposed to do. And so, we try to make the best of it here, but that has to be like an ultimate feels bad moment for so many people when, the build around appears to be here, and then, throughout the course of the RNG or whatever, it just says, fuck you. Like, that's essentially what this trial feels like is, because as you can see, down here it was trying to get us to trade away our Troop of Elnuks. I understand that, right? I get that it didn't come together. The game was like, hey, you're not in troops, get rid of these stupid things. But that's ultimately fairly frustrating to me. I don't have the answer to this problems from Riot's standpoint. Well, my answer to fix Troop of Elnuks is remove them from the game. I think the thing you find with this card is that it's either just way too good or way too bad, right? There's no happy middle ground. It's not as bad as like a lot of the combo cards that we see throughout card game history. Jay Madara is the one that I really point out as far as Runeterra goes, as to where it's terrible, it's a horrible card until it's not, and then when it's not a horrible card anymore, it's just 100% completely oppressive, and something immediately has to be done about it. And that's a similar place to where the Troop of Elnuks are, right? Maybe it's at a point now to where this is fun for a casual player to, dirtle around with and have funs with, but can Riot ever print another Elnuk now that this card exists? Maybe not. I mean, unless they have some kind of plan for, rotating cards out of ranked, I can't imagine that they can ever print another Elnuk while Troop of Elnuks exists. And so, yeah, I'm not a game designer. I'm just I'm just here to bitch about the games and not actually design them. And so, Riot hasn't disappointed me thus far. They've done everything very fantastically. I have no complaints about what Riot does, except for Troop of Elnuks. So that is that. But nonetheless, bitch sesh aside, back to what's actually happening here. As you can see with this, this is the Elnuks built around. If you do intend on, trying to high roll the troops, if you have it in your opening pack and you find one like right at the beginning, then you can pursue it. Otherwise, you have to abandon it. And so, if I wasn't, trying to be here for the memes and being cute, if this Pack 3 Troop of Elnuks was not here, I would have probably just abandoned these. Like, if it showed up at Pack 4, maybe Pack 5, I would have considered it. But, this is the exact kind of start you're looking to pursue if you want to do Elnuks. And if you don't see, like, Troop plus Bull, or, Bull plus Troop, or, down here by Pick 4, you just have to hard abandon it, at least for the troops. The Bull Elnuk is at least statted to where he's relevant, but Troop of Elnuks is just way too bad to have in your deck. And so that's that kind of theme, right? You can just take all of the Elnuks should they make an appearance. If not, then this does have a lot of good themes. They typically play well with Noxus cards. Noxus has a lot of 5-attack matters themes, and we're very easily able to make the 5-attack units out of the Yetis. And so, the Yetis sub-theme is okay. I'm still not a huge fan of Tall Tales, but it can be fine. But, having just the value you get from the early game of Omen Hawk, Yeti Yearling, and Avrosian Trapper, they just, do enough in the early game with generating Yetis and interacting with the board that you can really pivot into about anything. It's just a very strong early game package with the Omen Hawks, the Yeti Yearlings, and the Avrosian Trappers. And so, ideally, you do want to be paired with another Freylord, so you can be doing, full big Yeti things, or you want to be paired with a Noxus, so you can do 5-attack matters. But, that didn't pan out. We had this Garen, and I'm happy with what we chose to do here. We knew the big weakness in our deck here, right? We had the very good early game units, we had the very good late game units. We just didn't have any removal spells. And so we took Garen with Captain Erika here because it's a removal spell. We picked up one other set of Demacia cards, the On Guard and Relentless Pursuit. We never got to pull off the Relentless Pursuit, but it felt like this should have been good. It seemed like we were always just like one mana short of just immediately ending games with Relentless Pursuit. But we got exactly what we wanted out of Demacia, which was, single combat, Dragon single combat, Concerted Strike, Detain, Captain Erika, or something to interact like On Guard. Found it, And so I think that's, the big thing here is you can easily recognize that Anivia is a pretty big build around. You can see how to build around the troops. You can see the things like Yeti Yearling and Avrosian Trapper to see you have good early game. You can see things like Pack Mentality to realize you have ways to close out the games. You have the kind of combat tricks in the Brittle Steels and the Harsh Winds. Where does that leave us lacking? And that is removal spells. And so, I was pretty happy with this Garen pick as a way to pick up some removals. But that is that for this. I hope you got some value out of seeing the Elnuks in play. Hopefully, it was enough to persuade you from not drafting them and giving gentle tweets towards people that say things like "make the Elnuks go away." But nonetheless, it was a fun trial, even though the Elnuks theme didn't quite come together. But that is going to do it for us today. I hope you all learned how to stack your deck with Elnuks just a little bit better. You had a good time watching and maybe had an educational moment or two. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.